Hey, it's Clay at claytrader.com. This will be my top 10 stocks as we head into Friday, November 18th. This will be a technical analysis breakdown. So if you are someone that uses charts within your trading, or maybe you're just interested in learning more about charts and how they can be used as a tool to help make good decisions as a trader, this would be a video for you. First off, a couple clarification points. Number one, the price you see over here will be moving around and changing, and the candlestick you see right there will also be moving around and changing. That is because the market's still open for a short amount of time. But I like to do these videos when the market is still open because sometimes we can capture some really interesting late day movement on camera here. And then second, I'll be using the 30-minute time frame, meaning each one of these candlesticks, as they're called, represents 30 minutes worth of time. So stock number one here, ARDX. And one that's not a big mover because I realize that this number hasn't really fluctuated much, but there we go. Now we got to change. But overall, some very well-defined levels. And as traders, I like well-defined levels because when they're well-defined, it's not guaranteed, but it's a relatively safe assumption that other people are going to be watching them. And when lots of other people are watching these levels and wondering the same thing, call it a self-fulfilling prophecy, call it whatever you want, it can produce some very dynamic movement. So in my mind, the level that a whole lot of people will be watching headed into Friday, right up there at $1.88. So moving forward, $1.88 going to be that main breakout point. So let me be very clear. Are there guarantees? No. But is it plausible? Is it reasonable to think that if the price comes up to that level and gets a break up through it, that break would create upside buying pressure? Absolutely. Next one here, MULN did this one in the previous video, and I'm assuming this was a fat finger trade. Maybe the price went all the way up there and fell all the way back down. But given the amount of volume, I'm just going to go ahead and assume that this trade or this movement didn't actually happen. But I mean, even if it did, and this will mean more to those of you that watched the videos previously, but look right where the craziness happened to get rejected. Right there at that red line there, which is just the power of charts. But point here being, and the main dynamic is that, yeah, today, a disappointing day, got the gap up, and then after the gap down, price came back down. But with that being said, and this will mean a bit more to those of you that watched the video from Wednesday, at least the price is hanging above 27 cents, which is a key level of support as I talked about yesterday. So the price is still hanging above it. So yeah, it pulled back, but you can see that once again, the price bounced off that level, and that remains the same moving forward. It's really all about 27 cents, and the importance of that level is as long as the price stays above 27, then the price is still essentially between this sideways channel. And then the hyphen green line down there of 26 represents at what point would you consider 27 cents officially being broken, which would be a very bad thing. That would be if the price, gets down through that 26 cent mark area. That would be confirmation of that break. So yeah, crazy day today, but I'm assuming that was a fat finger trade. But like I said, to look at the glasses being half full, at least the price is holding above that 27 cent mark. Next one, DNA, and crazy move here, but what makes this interesting moving forward is you got to give credit where credit's due. Very impressive bounce. I think at one point the price was all the way down there and then started to bounce upwards. So that brings about the more than valid question, is this the start of something bigger? Now, I have no idea, but by using charts, we can make answering that question very straightforward, and that has to do with this level down here at the 205 mark. Why is 205 important? Well, price movements with genuine power, with true bullishness, are not going to go straight up because nothing goes straight up, but they are going to show signs of progress, which does prompt the question, okay, well, Clay, how are you defining, quote unquote, a sign of progress? And in this situation, that's where 205 comes into play. Because let's say the price comes down here, bounces around, and then heads back up. What would you have in that situation? Well, you'd have a set of lows there. You'd have lows right there if you envision those as stair-steps. Well, now you'd have stair-steps progressing in the upwards direction. And again, that is progress being made in the upwards direction, and that's what truly strong moves do. So again, as long as the price can stay above 205, that does represent a sign of progress, and that would make it valid to think that, okay, yeah, this bounce right now is still building higher bases, and that is what is most important. In terms of levels of resistance, there we go. Level to keep an eye on is going to be that resistance line up there, which puts the resistance right up there around, let's call it the $2.25 mark. So keep an eye on that. But yeah, in my opinion, at least the most important level moving forward is right there at 205. Next one here, AMC, and we have a very interesting dynamic here going on. Going back to MULN, talked about how that 27 cent mark was important to hold, and that's what we have going on right now with $7.25. So to be fair, and it is so far holding. The problem is now the price is basically flirting with a potential breakdown of this bigger sideways channel. Now, just because something is flirting with the level doesn't mean that it's for sure going to break down or anything of that nature. I'm just saying the price is much closer to breaking down than getting any sort of breakout up through there. And I realize I state the obvious when I say that, but that is definitely going to be the main dynamic, is what happens with $7.25. If the price does break down through it, and especially if it happens on higher volume, then in my opinion, very, very realistic chance it at least goes down to that pink line down there, which on my chart denotes the well-known 200 period moving average currently valued at $6.39. So, but as of now, like I said, you don't want to get too far over yourself because 725 and, that general area is supporting the price. So we'll see what happens with it. If there is any sort of attempted bounce back in the upwards direction, first key area of resistance is going to be that purple line there. 50 period moving average valued at 757. Next one, ticker symbol CTMX, and a beautiful, beautiful pattern. So it goes back to the whole talking point earlier of lots of people watching the same level, wondering the same things. It can produce self-fulfilling prophecies, and that's what we have with this dynamic here. So you got to think that there's all sorts of people that are watching this area right up here at $1.68, and have probably also drawn something, maybe not exact, but something similar to that trend line right there to just illustrate the fact that the price is trending upward. So let me change that to green to represent an area of support, and then maybe make this a bit easier to see. Let's just keep it all one color. So we have our resistance, we have our support, we have the big momentum move right there, and to make it even more visual for you golfers, let's put a golf hole down here to vision that, and now we have a bull pennant pattern. So as I mentioned earlier, are there guarantees? No, but is it plausible to think that if the price can come up here and get the break to the top side of that pattern, that break could create that much more upside buying pressure? Absolutely. So if you like to play bull pennant patterns, if you like to play stocks down below the $2 mark, here you go. Real quick, wanted to pause and personally invite you to get signed up for this free live online training that I'm offering. So if you've been enjoying what you've seen and you want to learn more about this tool, how it can and should be used to help build consistency as a trader, then I want you to get signed up for the free live class. If you're watching on YouTube, there's a link down in the description box. If you're watching at my site, there's an area right there on the webpage. Now, a quick note, because it is live, I have 5 kids. I understand life happens. Life is busy. So maybe you already have something on your calendar tonight. That's fine. Go ahead and drop me an email. I'd be happy to send you a link to the recording after it's done. Or maybe you're just watching this Friday morning and you've completely missed it. Again, go ahead, drop me an email, and I would be happy to send you a link to the recording. All I ask is just, because it is live, so the event's first got to happen, and then after I get it uploaded, I'd be happy to send you a link to it. Now, if you can make it live, then definitely get signed up. Next one, ticker symbol RLX, and like the other ones we've talked about, we have the whole idea of a self-fulfilling prophecy. So you got to think all sorts of people have noticed, oh, well, geez, the price has been rejected several times up at $1.77. So a lot of people have put that line into place right there as a resistance. And then we have an area of support down here. And again, let me change that to green to represent the support area of the pattern, and then make it one color to keep it easier to see. So resistance, support, nice move up. Golf hole down here. Now, maybe some people would call this a bull flag pattern, but bull flag, bull pennant, generally same exact thing. But the idea here is the idea that everybody is probably keeping an eye on that level and wondering, can that price level break? And if it does, it makes it not guaranteed, but reasonable to think that upside buying pressure could come in. Next one here, TSLA Tesla, and updates need to be done as it was another rough day. The price finally broke down through this 185 mark, which I've talked about in past videos, and that's where the first update comes into play. And this is just based on a foundational rule in charting, which states when levels of support are broken and closed below, they tend to act as resistance. So if there is any sort of attempted move back to the upside, that's where the first question mark comes into play. Can the price break back above 185? So keep an eye on that. In terms of next potential areas of support, got to zoom things down here a little bit with the next key level to watch now moving forward. Right down there around the 180 mark. And then after 180, next key level after that, down there at 178. So 180, 178, next couple of key levels to watch from their support standpoint. But yeah, no doubt about it. Rough day today. And, in all actuality, what just happened was just a breakdown of a bear flag pattern. So now it just goes into how much more continuation will this bear flag break it. Friday will be very interesting. Next one, NVDA just had earnings, and now we can get some well-defined levels drawn in there. First level right here. You got to think that everybody and their brother's uncle has drawn that trend line. So I'm not trying to press you, not trying to imply that that's some sort of great discovery. I assure you a lot of people have drawn that, which circles back to the whole idea of self-fulfilling prophecies. And if the price can break through that level, reasonable to think that the price could break up through there. And then at the other side of things, we have this trend line right here, which is illustrating the fact that the price is going through a current downtrend right now. But there's a but. And what is the but? Well, let's do this a little bit more. What was happening before this downtrend? So just to keep it one color, we have this downtrend. But what was happening before? Well, you had this big move up like so. So in this situation, what you actually have is a bull flag pattern. Now, if you are some sort of day trader and you bought right there, or maybe you bought right there, then yeah, you don't care about this because, you know, you don't care about the bigger picture point of view. But if you do care about more than just a single day or a couple of days, and you care about multiple days, then yeah, overall, even with the pullback, the trend is still up, and you do still have a bullish pattern with the bull flag. So keep that in mind. Next one here, BABA. I'm going to go through this very quickly because you've heard me talk about it before, but we have ourselves a nice, we'll call it self-fulfilling prophecy pattern, where a lot of people, you got to think, are watching these couple levels right here. So we have our resistance, we have our support, and resistance, support, nice move up like that. So we have ourselves another very tight range bull flag pattern. So if you like to play higher price stocks, here you go with a bull flag on BABA. Next one, TQQQ, which is the most popular ETF in the market these days based on the amount of volume it gets, because it's just a very cheap way to enter into the market if you believe that the NASDAQ market as a whole will rise. And as of now, you can see the pullback continues. Going to head to just get rid of that because I want to focus on two levels moving forward. Now, this level here will mean a little bit more to those that have watched past videos, but if you have, you know that I've had that trend line in place for quite a bit. And you can see, I mean, really, the price hasn't even quite tested it. I guess it got kind of close right there. But, you know, maybe a bit of an exaggeration on my part. But the point here being is that that trend line continues to build more and more, confidence, and I think eyeballs that are watching it, so you can produce those potential self-fulfilling prophecy type moves. But as of now, the price also just continues to drift down with lower lows, as you can see here over the past few days. It just keeps knocking in lower areas. So at this point, seemingly it's headed down to that pink line right there. 200 period moving average valued at 2033, which in my mind brings the big question mark and is going to be the level that a lot of people will be watching. Shorts are going to be watching and thinking, okay, I think it could break and that could create that much more downside pressure. Longs are going to be watching it saying, I think it could very well bounce from that area. And I see both perspectives. Nobody's wrong, but somebody will be wrong, and that's why risk management matters. So in my mind, those are definitely the two main levels to watch moving forward. Again, from a resistance side of things, that trend line right there, from a support side of things, the 200 period moving average. So let's see how this one continues to play out. So that wraps up the top 10. Again, if you like what you saw here, then I want you to get signed up for the free training. Or like I said, if you can't make it live for whatever reason, go ahead, send me an email, clay@claycharter.com, and I'd be happy to send you a link to the recording. As far as these top 10 videos are concerned, if you enjoy these, please do two things for me. Hit that like button, leave a simple comment down below. But hopefully I'll be seeing you here in just a few hours, because if you can make it live, then definitely get signed up.